from the Heart.
Hello and welcome back to Horror from the Heart. Now this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. I actually have somebody here with me because a lot of the stuff that I've been doing has been about either, scary stories with people that have had things involved in their lives. Like when I say real life horror, I mean like either crime, true crime type of stuff, or even paranormal type of events. So I have somebody here who has had like a few experiences of stuff like that. And I'm going to see if I can get more people on here eventually from time to time to be able to talk about that kind of stuff. So I have Cristy here with me. Cristy is my mother. And where else do you get some of the best stories about shit like that than from your own parents? So go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
Okay. So I know, like, I've heard a lot of your stories from when I was a kid. From the time that you lived in that one apartment to some of the other ones that you had from whenever you were a kid. So what I want to hear is, like, so that I can share with the audience here is maybe like one of your stories that you've experienced in your lifetime that deal with either like paranormal events or ghosts or whatever, that kind of crap.
Okay. Well, when I was a kid, and I had to be about maybe 6 years old, no, maybe 7. We lived in Louisiana, and it was a little town called Downsville. And my mom was married to my stepfather, who was a raging alcoholic.
That's always fun.
Most of his family were, as far as the males, as far as I know, were alcoholics. Well, we had gone over to his brother's house because him and his brother wanted to hang out, I guess, and go drinking. And it was the last house on a dirt road, and you were like 2 miles from your nearest neighbor, which was their cousins.
Oh, jeez. So, I mean,
it's Louisiana.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Louisiana.
Anyway, so all the kids were outside playing. They had this old car that was sitting underneath the tree. And I got up on the old car because it was just one of those summer days where, you can kick back outside and just take a nap,
Yeah.
Which I always enjoyed, taking a nap even as a kid.
I love naps now, so.
So I was sitting up on this old car, and I was looking up at the tree, and all of a sudden I seen my stepfather's brother hanging from that tree. And I thought, oh, that's kind of weird, And I looked, and he was dressed in this suit, had no shoes on, and I knew right then he was dead. And I went and I told my mom and his wife, and they thought I was just like, what the hell's wrong with this kid,
Yeah.
You're crazy. Go outside and play.
Little kid stories and things
Yeah.
like that.
And I told him, I said, no, really, I seen and I called him Uncle Buddy, hanging from the tree. I seen him. No, just go outside and go play. So a couple hours later, some of the other relatives on that side of the family came knocking on the door, frantic, and telling my mom and my Aunt Jessie that either my stepfather or my uncle had been killed. And I knew. I seen my uncle hanging from that tree. I knew it was him, and I knew he was dead. And they didn't know which one it was.
Yeah.
Well, a few hours after that, the police came. And they told my aunt that Uncle Buddy was dead.
Yeah.
Well, these two idiots got in this big pulpwood truck, were drinking, and they don't know if my stepfather and him were fighting, and he pushed him out of the truck, or if he jumped out of the truck, but he ran over him.
Holy
with
hell.
the pulpwood truck.
Wow.
And they buried him in the suit that I saw him in.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So like on that, do you think it was like his spirit, or was like a
I,
premonition type of thing, or
I you know, I, I truly believe it was a premonition.
like a premonition type of
Yeah.
thing? Kind of like his spirit coming over there, come
Well,
say something,
yeah,
but
to let me, yeah. And I guess I was real receptive to that kind of stuff when I was younger. I mean,
yeah,
I still get premonitions to this day, but not as strong as I did when I was young.
yeah. And it's because I know as like we become older, we tend to,
Get jaded.
well, yeah, well, jaded for sure, but we tend to close ourselves off to a lot of that kind of stuff because
Yes,
it's like,
yeah, you're not supposed to be able to do that.
yeah,
You
because
know.
well, I mean, it's like because you hear a lot of the stories about like little kids where it's like, oh, I'm hanging out with my friend Tommy, and there's like there is no Tommy. Well, he's got a cute imaginary friend. For all we know, it could be an actual like ghost entity or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, because
So,
kids are receptive to that stuff,
oh, absolutely,
and
animals
animals
too.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
animals too. So I know you've told me that one before, but one of my favorite ones that you've talked to me about before was the apartment, and that's the
Uh,
whole reason why I kind of brought up the apartment in the first place because I love when you tell that one because it was just
well, that area in Grand Prairie, Texas, is known, and I'm not the only one that's had experiences over there, but it's known for activity like that. It
like
really is.
paranormal activity.
Yeah. You know where Immaculate Conception Church is?
I think I
It
remember where
was
that's
right
at. Yeah.
behind those apartments that we lived in.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because see,
So,
I know there was like tons of stuff over there in Grand Prairie that you hear all sorts of ghost stories about this, that, and the other.
yeah.
Because I mean, that's like you had all sorts of things, and they had like all sorts of different little places that were older that a lot of people talked about. So
Yeah.
tell us about the apartment.
Okay. Well, this is when your oldest sister was about 2 years old.
Yeah.
And we had, me and your dad and her had moved into this apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Skyline Apartments. I don't know if they're still named that or not
I have
now.
no idea.
But when we first moved in, everything was fine. About a couple months after we moved in there, I started getting weird feelings, and it just something felt off. So, and your little sister at the time was potty training. I mean, your big sister was potty training. So, she would wet the bed, and um, it was a weekend day, and she went to go stay the night with your grandma.
Uh huh.
And so I went in there and checked her bed, and yeah, it was wet. And so I thought, oh shoot, instead of just changing the sheets and cleaning it up, I decided, well, I'll just flip the mattress over, because that way, if it can dry, um, you know,
Yeah.
that way, and then she's not, when she comes home, she's not sleeping on a wet spot.
Yeah, and this was like way back in the day, so we didn't have like portable steam cleaners and all that kind of
No,
crap.
you just had to clean it with.
Yeah.
But we flipped the mattress over, and I swear to God, Joshua, that mattress was just covered in blood, and it's not like somebody had their period.
Yeah.
With
Wasn't
a
like
spot here, a spot there. I mean, that thing was covered.
there's like crimson on the other side, or
Yeah,
that
yeah,
dark kind of
yeah. It's
brownish
like,
tinted, maroon
yeah,
looking thing.
yeah. It would be like if this woman was on her period, she was going to bleed to death.
Oh
You know,
jeez.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so I'm
'cause
pretty sure.
that's how bad it was.
Yeah, so I'm
And
pretty sure it wasn't that.
so anyway, that night I had a bad dream. Like I could not sleep good at all, and it's like, what in the heck is going on? I just like these dreams kept popping up in my head, and I couldn't sleep good, and we went and picked your your big sister up from your grandma, and my mom was telling me, Cristy, her name was Cristy also, that she was telling her about this man with a knife cutting this woman's neck.
Oh, jeez. So was it like, was she seeing it or was it like dreams?
I don't, I think she had told her that she saw this man cutting this woman's neck.
So that kind of goes back to that.
I mean, because she was speaking, all of my kids have spoke very, um, like even at 2 years old, you could hold a conversation with you.
See, we are smart. That's what it is, apparently, she's trying to say.
Well, yeah. But,
well, that goes into the whole thing where we were talking about, like, with kids being, like, more perceptive to that.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, after that, like, we would, be at home and it would start, I think about 9 o'clock or so. You'd get this really ominous feeling in this apartment to where we had to get out of that apartment every night for a couple of hours so that would dissipate because you couldn't stay in there. It just felt horrible.
Just like oppressive. And
Very
everything.
oppressive. And then it started getting to the point where it felt like somebody was watching me every minute. I mean, just every minute.
Mm.
Like, if your dad wasn't there, I didn't feel safe there.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, I mean, I was literally carrying a knife in my hand all the time when I was there by myself because not that it would have helped against something like that, but it made me feel better.
Yeah.
And it just got to the point where I told your dad, I said, I can't do this anymore. There's something wrong here. And we had to move out. We broke the lease and moved out of there, and I didn't regret it.
Jeez. So it was a pre-furnished place?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you had all this furniture with it and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. So do you think, like, whenever you, like, messed with the bed, it kind of messed with the spirits or something?
I'm thinking that once once I flipped that mattress over, once I flipped that mattress over and I seen that blood, I just think that whatever was in that apartment said, aha,
Oh, okay.
and
Kind of like because you're aware of it now.
yeah.
Mm.
I don't know what it was, but my little sister lived in those apartments also
Yeah.
with her kids, and this was at a different time. I mean, they were Daniel had to be 8, 9 years old, and the bedroom that he slept in didn't matter if you had the heater on full blast, did not matter what time of year it was. That bedroom stayed ice cold,
Hmm.
ice cold, and he would be talking to somebody in there. My sister would ask him, "Who are you talking to?" And he would tell her, "The man."
Yeah.
So it's like I just think that whole area over there is just
Haunted as hell.
yeah, probably.
I see. I was thinking at
Because
least.
who knows what happened there before they built stuff up over there, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, that's true. I mean, and then like at least now we could actually probably do like internet searches and stuff like that to like look up old police records for things like that. See if maybe there was something that happened in that area.
I'm sure it's, it wasn't like the best part of town. I'm sure
No,
a lot
no.
of stuff happened.
Oh yeah, but you know what I mean. Like
You know.
finding specific ones where it's like, oh yeah, no, these apartments had like several different things that happened, or
Well, you might could. I really don't know.
it'd be possible. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to kind of sit down here, kind of give the people that do listen a little bit of the stories and stuff like that from you from what you've experienced and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I know you still have like plenty of other stories, so maybe one of the next times,
You ought to get your dad to do it.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I could definitely
All
get some
the
good
haunting
stories.
stuff
Oh yeah.
in New Mexico.
Oh yeah, I know. One of these times, I'd like to be able to get a few people here and there to actually come on and kind of tell some stories and stuff like that, because it's like I know I've had my own experiences and stuff like that, but I don't think I have as intricate experiences as like, you or dad or something like that. But again, I really appreciate you taking the time. Maybe I can get you back on, like I said,
Okay.
to kind of tell some more of the stories and things like that.
Okay, if
So,
I remember 'em, I'm getting old.
oh, I know, I know. But I thank you anyway.
All right.
So with that, that's where I'm going to go ahead and end this. I appreciate you guys listening through, all of this and listening to the story and everything like that. And I'm definitely going to see about if I can get any other people that I know locally here to kind of tell their stories. As I always say, though, is like I want to try and make this the discussion and things like that. So if you guys have any stories that you have experienced, go ahead and in comments down below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're not watching this on YouTube and you're listening to it in podcast form, try and find the YouTube channel and put the comments down. I'm going to see eventually if I can get, if I do get more people who are listening, see about setting up something to where, can have like discussions and things like that on either Reddit or maybe, through a different Discord or something like that kind of thing. So if you're listening to this in podcast, wherever you're listening to, really appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed on any of the platforms. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Hit that love button if you're on one of the podcasts and things like that. And I thank you very much if you've made it this far, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.